Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 845subie podcast. We are a New York-based collective of Subaru enthusiasts.
So, Subaru news. We got Subaru Motorsports USA just ran the 100-acre wood, and Brandon Semenuk and Keaton Williams won, of course, the event. Pastrana and Rhiannon Gelsomino were not there this time because of a project they are working on. The 2026 Subaru Forester Wilderness just got released, and
Awesome.
I think it's amazing. I actually saw one in person, and it is the real deal. The sport one is awesome.
So
So
I'm
the
gonna ask
wilderness
the question.
version, wilderness always brings it up to that level. So April 19th is the Burnout Nationals at Orange County Raceway. Come out, come see some car smoke, smell some rich aromas of the rubber.
Burning tires, yeah.
And burning tires. Wicked Big Meat. Shout out Subie Fest. Wicked Big Meat is in full preparation for myself. I'm sure everybody else is doing something. We're trying. That is June 8th. Get ready for that. If you have not purchased tickets yet, we have a link that we will provide for 845subie's link
QR code.
for the QR code. You can purchase it through us, and that gives us credit towards most supportive crew.
Right.
Last year, we actually took the crown in most supportive crew. So 845subie is going for it again this year. We have a change in schedule for Subie Fest. Subie Fest. December 13th, we change it to Sunday, December 14th. If you're thinking that you want it to be a two-day event, you want Saturday and Sunday, look in your general area. There should be a pre-meet Saturday. And make it a whole weekend. Make it a two-day event. Go to the pre-meet, stay over Saturday night. It's at Orlando Speedway.
April 18th to the 27th.
Yes.
It's going to be the New York International Auto Show. And with that, we got some insider news from Joe, who works closely with Subaru of America. So let's hear about it.
This year, the Bazette collection, I believe, is bringing their almost full collection of rare Subarus out. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
They're going to have everything from the 360 to RA type R's, I believe.
Okay.
JDMs, 22B should be there.
Maybe we get to see some Leon action too, the GL10s and stuff like that.
I think so.
RX Turbo,
there's
RX Turbo
a VSC prepped. I think like a production class is supposed to be there.
Okay.
An original 04 STI is going to be there.
Nice.
So that's going to be a really,
As a GT
really
body owner,
cool.
that excites both of us.
Bam.
Big meet weekend. We're looking at the Subie Mods pre-meet, which is always super epic. Every time we go there, there's literally like zero place to park once you get there, even if you get there early, because everybody just like attacks the scene. Manchester, Dave and Buster's Wicked Big Meet pre-meet, which usually takes place around 5 or so. There's going to be that whole mall parking lot. There's going to be a fleet of Subarus. Last year was one of the biggest ones we did. We were joined. The people we have with us is a, surprise, VB owner, also former GD owner. This is Tarek.
Pleasure to meet you, everyone. A couple of things. I just got into the VB gang last year. I'm coming from more of a European platform. I mean, I did, like he stated, I had a GD, and that was a fun 2 years. Getting down manual was my first manual. I consider Subarus to be generally very easy to learn if you don't know how to drive manual. Then I switched over to an automatic platform. I was in a BMW 328. I had a couple things done to it. Blow-off valve, turbo inlet, all aluminum turbo inlet at that. Intake, charge pipes, the works. And it made a lot of cool turbo noises, but I was still lacking on the manual experience. And, coming into the game, there's not that many offerings nowadays, VB made sense. It's all-wheel drive. I live in New York. 6-speed manual. Makes tons of power. Has good,
very tunable.
Very tunable. We're, like we said, there's a lot of numbers being made with just an intake and a tune. So I'm glad to be a part of the platform.
So was your BMW, it wasn't all-wheel, it was rear?
No, it was all-wheel.
It was, okay.
It was.
But the all-wheel drive system it's not the same.
It's not the same as Subaru at all. There's been some touchy moments, even with winter tires, where inches away from a guardrail, caught it, thankfully. But
right, yeah, it seems strange. Like Audi, even Quattro.
Which was
great
like
all-wheel
synonymous
drive
with
system. The first WRC
VB.
drive system.
Yeah.
I also did have an Audi A4 Quattro, and I spun out in the snow. Never once has that ever happened in all the Subarus that I've owned. And I'm on my 4th or 5th Subaru.
I'm on my 6th. And the sketchiest thing that ever happened was in my SVX. One of the rear right tire just went off the berm. Just enough.
Yeah.
And it went sideways.
Gave you a
And
little-
I put a crazy correction on the car. Fine. Perfectly trusted. That's the only thing I've ever had happen that was sketchy at my Subaru. So yeah, 6 Subarus in. And that all-wheel drive system that
6
they
as well.
made, the symmetrical all-wheel drive, it's absolutely amazing if you haven't driven one.
And it's uniform. Like, I have a Forester as well, first gen Forester.
Right.
Well
It's
done.
the
And I
same
took
thing.
it out. And it feels exactly like my WRX. Just doesn't have that extra room of power. But on the road, it's planted. You can't beat the Subaru all-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
I recently got sponsored by MSD Performance, and they're new in the Subaru game. They mostly dealt with German cars. I mean, I had their intake on my BMW. Sounded great. The turbo was fluttering. It was audible from really far away. Just to give credit to them, they are testing out more new parts. They're getting into the Subaru platform. I'll be testing out their intake. It's on the way. Hopefully, I should have a video out by the end of the week. But just a good shout out to them. Recent sponsorship.
Obviously, 845 Subie. How long have you been in 845 Subie?
So it started when I had my bug eye, and this was back in 2019. And I
Nice.
just wanted to be around a community of people who share the same passion and like the platform. This way, going forward, it's a Subaru. It's bound to have its issues. To have
Yeah.
like-minded people who can get you out or possibly point you in the right direction. And I love Subarus, and I like to see everybody's builds, go on for cruises, be a part of the meets. It's a great community
The
that we
overall
have.
culture,
Yeah, one of the best things. You just go to a meet and you're going to get so many ideas
Yeah.
of what you might want to do and what you might not want to do. So this way you get an overall sense. You can talk to these people. Everyone's very cool. You can just go up to them and start a conversation, ask them about their car. They're going to want to talk to you.
The Subaru community is one different than many, many others. One of the things that I wanted to ask is, being a part of 845 Subie and just the Subie community as a whole, what is one of your best memories?
I will say it will always come down to Wicked Big Meet. When we all are there, it generally feels like we're in a family. Every single year is a memory. I will say my favorite meet, though, outside of shows, would have to be my first one. That's when I got introduced into the community. I saw everybody's all together, and I've been a part of a couple of toxic car communities. You come over to 845 Subie, it's a fresh breath of air. Nobody's out there saying anything about each other's builds. We try to uplift each other, and it's kind of rare nowadays.
Yeah, it's what we try and do. It's what we try and strive for.
And I will say my first meet was at that Dunkin'.
Nice.
So there's a lot of history at that
Oh
Dunkin'.
my gosh,
Donuts.
mine too. So that's where I met 845 as well.
Yeah,
Was
well,
at that Dunkin'
same.
Westage, coming home from a mini truck camping trip, and I'll remember that forever.
And I feel like a lot of us share that
basically
story.
attacked you with my
that's
camera.
wild. That's incredible.
'Cause I'm a big fan of like the K-car scene and stuff like that. And when I say K-car, I mean Japanese, not the Lee Iacocca stuff from the 80s. Although those are cool too. Hey, Shelby CSX, awesome car. Moving on. One thing I do have to say is that was a big thing for me. So the day that you showed up for that, I saw that and I beeline.
We're trying to get into the Overland stuff. 2025 Overland Festival is now going to be sponsored by Subaru, so hopefully in the future, Virginia is going to be the closest one. But as that gets
Road trip to
larger,
Virginia.
right, we're going to try and encompass and get ourselves into all those avenues of Subaru.
We are trying to
so-
do Gatlinburg this year.
Yes,
And
that's
that's
going to
Tennessee,
be big.
so
yeah.
It's big every
And
year.
I will say our name is kind of growing as far as we got people in other states that even have our banners and know who 845 Subie is. So
Maryland,
Yeah, that's
it's
Pennsylvania,
kind of crazy.
Connecticut,
That's awesome.
big time in Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I had the BMW, it was all fun and stuff, but now I'm into a new platform. There's a lot of stuff that people haven't even tried yet that you could be the first one. And just doing that stuff with my content, I've been able to reach out to a lot of different types of people. And every single time I reach out to a new person, that's a new person who knows about 845 Subie. Because
That's
I rep them
amazing.
like no other person. EVs are not eliminating fossil fuel. We're always going to have a need for fossil fuel. I know we have certain houses that are also energy efficient that probably use heat coils instead of the classic oil. But just let us coexist. That's all I'm asking for. Don't eliminate all these car models.
So with that, I think this is a good way to segue into it. So this is the first half of 845 Subie's podcast, episode 2. Tariq, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Go over a few of the affiliations, sponsors, vendors that we deal with here. First shout out, Subaru of America.
Some of the other companies that we've had the pleasure of doing business with in our short time as a car club, we'd like to shout out Vermont Sports Car, of
On the
course,
hat.
right here, Vermont Sports Car. Ancira, Subie Mods, Stanson Photography, we love your work. Bucky Lasik, AWE Tuning, Yellow Speed Racing, we actually have someone in our club who is sponsored by Yellow Speed. Rick Motec, they do fantastic work. Clean Culture, they put on some of the nicest car shows in the area, but more than just local. Recently, they've had car shows in Tokyo.
Japan, yeah, that was a big one.
They put on some of the biggest shows in this part of the world for
Straight up
sure.
bangers, yeah.
Supreme Performance, Saints and Sinners Automotive.
Which is
actually,
where we're
big shout out to
stationed
Saints
right
and
now.
Sinners right now. We're filming the podcast from Saints and Sinners. We have the 431 Institute, Ken Block.
All right.
Yes, donate to that.
100%.
So that
Ken Block fan
organization
myself.
is for people who might not have the opportunity in motorsports, but not even that. It's anything that has to do with it. It's action sports, it's photography, it's editing, anything that you have to do if you're into the motorsport and don't have the means or opportunity. 43 Institute is for you.
Shout out to Ignition Speed and big shout out to Super Clean, one of our first of official sponsors to 845 Subie. Cobb Tuning, that's probably, I would say, probably the biggest name in Subaru performance, consumer level.
And vendor and aftermarket.
Yeah.
Probably one of
R&D
the
as well.
longest running and aftermarket companies that has been dealing with Subie Fest and
Yes.
Wicked Big Me.
IAG Performance.
Big shout out.
And no small shout out to Overtake USA. Justin, we love you, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Showing us a lot of support, a lot of love.
I got a package from Overtake supposed to deliver tomorrow.
Phil just got onto the racing sponsorship program. So if he podiums, he gets certain money from Overtake. That's the racing contingency program. So look that up. There's actually 3 levels of sponsorship that they're looking at that you can do. You can do an influencer sponsorship, you can do that racing contingency program, and you can do their vendor program. What year car do you have?
I have a 2020 WRX STI.
Yeah, love it. Love it. One of the last EJs
Right.
for the STI that'll be
Uh,
around.
And it's a very, very simple daily driver. I love it. It's been very good to me. Everything post 2019 is the Type RA block. I have the cat back from AWE. I think it is absolutely, hands down, the best sounding exhaust on the market.
Shout out AW.
No one ever believes the car is stock. It is.
Yeah.
It's bone stock.
Now you have the race
throaty
edition.
note to it.
Yes. There
There
are
are
no
different
mufflers.
editions
There are
of-
no mufflers. It is obnoxious, but in a good way. There's not a lot of drone. You can hold a conversation in the car, but it's loud enough to annoy people when you want it to.
Yeah, I rode
It
all the
really
way back
is.
from Goshen with you, and you and I were talking like
Yeah.
we're talking right now. It's very casual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
but
you still had that rumble.
cold startup. Sorry, neighbors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My neighbors hate me.
Even got some really awesome STI bits on it from the factory that you don't really see around.
Well, no. When I bought the car, I did have the option of sitting down with the dealership and just ordering all of the extras that I wanted. The entire Grimspeed engine dress-up kit, along with a set of caps for all of the different fluids from Billetworks.
Nice.
Billetworks. Actually, Billetworks. I'd like to shout out Billetworks. I hit a deer 2 years ago and smashed up the whole front driver's side of my car. The washer fluid reservoir, I guess, had popped off in the impact. I couldn't find it anywhere. I contacted Billetworks, and they were kind enough to check on me and check on the car. I wanted to know how I was doing, and they replaced the cap for free. Those caps are like $60 a piece.
That's incredible support right there. It
Yeah.
really is from aftermarket supplier.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big shout out to Billetworks.
So that about wraps it up for this episode of 845 Subie Podcast. Catch us again on YouTube.
And please like, comment, and subscribe, and catch us on the next one.
And if you haven't already, make sure to turn on the bell for all the post notifications. See you
That's
next
all.
time.